There we go. We're on
So
time.
to continue the production meeting, it always matters whether we start on time. Always.
To
Since when?
you specifically,
You.
or just in general?
Just in general. I've
Oh.
never, and I'll ask you this question, Daniel. Have you ever kicked off a game late? No, you have not. I'll answer the question for you. You kick off when they tell you to kick off. Period.
Right. I'm just saying that it seems to be important to you in general, but not in particularly important to you specifically speaking.
People have been to the bus late.
Been
Been to the bus late?
to the bus late?
Yeah, to like leave for the stadium.
I don't get on the bus late.
I know.
So I'm not sure where we're going with that.
Hey, it's Monday night.
Yeah, I know. Just be quiet. All right. So obviously it's Monday Night Football. Really cool. I don't know. VSG must have been around way back in the 70s because it looked like there's some VSG logos for Monday Night Football way back from the 70s. So I don't know how long we've actually been around.
Do we need to get the corporate lawyer we don't have on notice? That,
For what?
Right.
I don't know, copyright or trademark or something, whatever bucket that would fall into.
No.
I think we're good.
I think we're absolutely.
I love
fine.
that song.
I know. Too bad they don't have it anymore.
Oh, they don't?
Come on, Brandon. Jeez.
I don't know where I've been.
Don't embarrass
Oh, it's like Carrie Underwood now or something?
Isn't she Sunday night?
I don't know.
Now I'm embarrassing myself because I'm gonna pull out Hank Williams Jr., but he's been gone for like 6-7 years.
What do you mean they don't have that song anymore? Come on, they got to have that song.
No, that song is dead and buried.
You're telling me that was the song before Hank Williams Jr.?
That's a historic song. I'm not sure when.
I think it was just in conjunction with. I think they're two different things.
Michael
They
Billiker
still
says
use
they
it.
still
I'm
use
telling
it.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to the physicist.
What does the physicist know about music?
What? Just a lot more intelligent than you.
That may be true, but what does he know about music? I'm gonna take Steve
just
Schaub
say-
with me when we want to talk about music. He pulled out Heavy Action. I don't know how the world he knows that, but
All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night.
That's true. I think Michael Bellica is dead on. They have the intro song and then they transition to that Monday Night Football deal. Yeah. Okay. Well, Monday Night Football. Appreciate everyone for being flexible. And we had to make a change, but I think a change is for the better sometimes. This is just for tonight. We're going
Just
back
keep
to
you on your
Tuesday next
toes.
week. Yeah, exactly.
All right. How was the Super Bowl for you?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean,
Good
other than the
work.
fact that
Work all the way
refs were
around.
just cheating for one team,
Whoa.
obviously.
That's kind of.
Oh my God. I've never seen so much cheating in my life.
Thought
And then
had
they
a
made
good
it even and then cheated for the other team like halfway through.
Oh.
I'm like, what's going on?
Wow.
Why would we cheat for both teams?
You the grader on the game or something?
No.
Yeah, I hope not.
No.
That would be unfortunate. Well, I mean, the game limped along, in my opinion, through 3 quarters, and then boom.
They did. I know.
Fourth quarter, overtime. It was great. It was great. But enough of that. Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Probably not quick. Here we go.
Is this your first ESG?
By the way, Tax Act. So it's seasonal. Tax Act, Texas Bowl. What is the result of the play? All right. What's the result of the play?
Ooh.
We've got a few different options here.
Ooh.
Gosh, there was one more. I think the poll got sabotaged. That's okay, though. What's the result of the play and why? All right, so A says forward progress. It's B's ball at the spot where contact by A players forced B4 backward. B says touchback because when B4 gains control of the ball, his foot is on the goal line.
Oh, I missed that. Uh-oh.
So, yeah, you might want to pay attention to some details on this play. C says touchback because by philosophy, i.e., which I believe means, in other words, control of the ball is close to the goal line. Okay. D says momentum because B's B's ball at the spot where control was achieved with a body part down. So there's 3 options. The reality here is there's really 2 distinct results, I believe. I mean, forward progress and momentum could be within, a couple inches of each other. Obviously, touchback is different than both of those. But it's kind of important to know why we're doing what we're doing, right?
Somewhat.
We've tended to go down those lines in the past, talking about process-oriented approach. Real quick here, we've got some beanbags flying out. If you're the deep wing on the goal line, are you wanting to beanbag the fumble? There's no right or wrong answer. Yeah, okay.
I like that.
Okay, but you might need another one. Or what if you do have momentum? Are you working that with a beanbag, or are you just kind of saying, "Hey, I got momentum at the whatever"? And I'm not saying momentum's the right answer. I'm just saying, in the scenario where you would have momentum, do you need to save a beanbag for that or no?
I've never beanbagged the momentum spot.
Just you had it.
And I want to take back what I said about the side judge throwing a beanbag, field judge, deep wing throwing a beanbag.
Okay. I was going to ask.
Daniel was he was ready to.
Yeah, he's about to pounce.
It's 9 after the hour, and he was ready to pounce.
No. I just like talking beanbag mechanics with Brother Salam. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, one problem is
very
we pop the
thoughtful.
beanbag and we put it at the 3-yard line. So, I mean, obviously, possession was not lost by the team A at the 3-yard line. So I'm not sure the value that beanbag added.
So is it ever? Yeah, because. So my question was going to be: is there ever value in dropping a beanbag? Maybe because I don't know. You just feel like you have a look and you want to communicate fumble, but you're not ruling down by rule anyway.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
six
Well, I
yard
think you
line.
can see. I think the deep wing can clearly see that the ball came loose before.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
But I guess what I was saying is the line judge is going to be ruling on down by rule.
correct.
So hopefully he has a beanbag. And if you're not going to be able to get your beanbag to the spot of the fumble,
What's the point of even throwing it?
yeah, do we need it? I don't know. We're all conditioned when we're ruling fumble to throw or drop our beanbags.
I thought a beanbag meant there was a fumble.
Yeah, me too. And
So
somebody started screaming at all of us about it, and I realized that's not right.
Definitely not right. And I think that's what we're really conditioned to do, Daniel. We see a ball loose and we say, let me grab this beanbag and put it somewhere. And we don't care where we put it. And that is patently poor that is just incorrect and poor mechanics to just throw a beanbag just because a ball is loose. Because the point of the beanbag is to mark the spot. And Corey corrected me last week on this. I like to say where possession was lost. I think Corey said something different last week.
Where the run ends.
Yeah, where the run ends. The point of beanbag is not just to say, oh, there's a fumble, let me put a beanbag on the ground. A beanbag is a spot. It's almost like a flag. It's equivalent to a flag for a spot foul.
It's a reference point.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like here, if that spot ended up mattering with a foul, because that could become a basic spot, right? We talked about a lot about that.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered basic spot a little bit.
Yeah, and so we would want to do with the beanbag what we do with the flag. Move it before it's time to, finally adjudicate that.
Gotcha.
And no one ever does that.
I was just going to say, how many beanbags have you seen moved?
No,
they're not.
Zero.
Yeah. It's very rare to actually use it as the enforcement spot, but it could happen.
Yeah. And then you asked about the momentum spot. Man, I'm going to be honest. My brain processing momentum, my brain is only so big. Everybody knows that already. And I don't think I have enough brain power left as I'm processing momentum to think about grabbing the beanbag and placing it in the spot where I think the momentum spot would be. I'm sorry. I'm not that good or that smart.
Here's my question on that. Is it right? Because let's just agree that it would be right to get a beanbag at the momentum spot. Great. Would you do that only when momentum is in effect, or would you do that when the potential for momentum exists? That's my question. What's the proper way to do that?
I don't even understand.
So like we've got a guy who recovers this fumble, but he's in stride, and he clearly establishes possession in the field of play, and he's in stride, running around in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
So should we get the beanbag down immediately, or only get the beanbag down like when the ball becomes dead?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because if he comes out on his own, then there is no momentum.
Yeah,
that's a great question, Brandon Cruz.
I don't know what's proper.
That's why I think my poor ability to multitask comes in handy, because I wouldn't throw the beanbag. So that dude, if he came out, I would be perfect. And people would say, oh my God, this dude is a great official. And I'm just fooling people because I'm just not smart. But I look like a tremendous official who's well aware of everything that's going on.
My opinion to the answer to my question, that's a lot of my's. My opinion to the answer to my opinion, which is my answer to my question, is that you should get the beanbag out early.
Why?
So that you just lose that. Because it's a potential reference point.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I just might, if all heck breaks loose in the end zone, I just might forget or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 50% said it is momentum. So we're going to put the ball, we're going to award the ball to be at the spot where control is achieved with the body part down. Okay. And then 23% said it's a touchback. Because when B4 gains control of the football, his foot is on the goal line. So that was 23. That's a quarter of us. 18%.
You're proud of yourself for that.
He is. You could hear it in his voice.
He is.
What? What'd you say?
For that.
You just feel good.
Oh man, I know. C is the philosophy one, touchback. If you ever go to a camp with Randy Campbell, he'll talk about the F word and then he says philosophy. It's one of his great jokes that he's been using for 20 years. We love Randy Campbell, by the way. So that's 18% said C, and then of course 9% said it's forward progress. B's ball at the spot where contact by A players forced B forward backward. So let's start with B, because you all were so funny about that. What does his foot? How does his foot impact the a live ball becoming dead? How does this player's foot on this play?
Is that a trick question?
That's a question. It doesn't, right?
Unless it was on the sideline.
Unless it was on the sideline. So the goal line's not out of bounds. Just because it's the position of the ball. It's the position of the ball. It's the position of the ball. His foot touching the goal line has zero impact really to anything that I can think of, unless I'm mistaken.
No. Zero impact. You're absolutely correct.
His foot's down. That's a body part down in the field of play. Like, that's a body part down to help establish possession.
Right.
But it doesn't have anything to do with the location of the potential dead ball. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's B.
Great.
So we're gonna let's cross B out. And then all these other ones are just kind of up for grabs. I mean, we just got to make a ruling here. So, although I would like to talk about philosophy and how you guys think about that, so that's part C here, answer number C, answer letter C, whatever you want to call it. What about, this is tight to the goal line, so we've heard a lot. Let's just make it a touchback and be done with it.
Yeah.
Which, if we want to do that here, I don't know if I, really hate that, but I don't know if I love that either. So what do you think?
Well, it's less about the result in that circumstance and then how we're just going to work it visually, officiate it, because if your approach is he's close to the goal line, I've been taught that I can make this a touchback and everybody's happier. I do hate that, because somebody's not happier about that, right? And it's either correct or it's not correct. And part of what we're responsible for doing is making the correct ruling on the field. So we just want to be really careful and understand what the philosophy exists for. And it exists for consistency in situations where we may be unsure of the correct ruling. And so if our approach is, this is close, I'm just making it a touchback, that's one thing that I don't love. But if our approach is, gosh, I know he's got his hands on the ball in the field of play, but I'm not sure that I like that as firm control. I know he has firm control when he's in the end zone. I'm going to make this a touchback because I don't know that he had firm control before he got in the end zone. Well, yeah. I think that's really good officiating.
Right.
Same result, but just a different way to approach it and work it.
Yeah. You have a reason why we're leaning on a so-called philosophy. The second way you explain
it's a standard. It's a standard. They're S words now.
I'm sorry, it's a standard. Oh, it's an S word. Yeah, that's a worse joke. We'll have to amend Mr. Campbell, Coordinator Campbell's joke for him. Okay. So that's good. So again, maybe the 18%. So if we answered C, I would hope we were just saying, that's what we were saying. Like, does he really have control in the field of play or not? I don't know. I know this is in slow motion. Maybe I put it in real time. Man, that's super tight, right? It's super tight. Okay. Or maybe it's not. And then, of course, 9% said it's progress. B's ball at the spot where contact by A players forced him backward. I guess you could also argue his knee's potentially down or his shin or something. I don't know if we can see that. What do you guys think about this whole progress thing, ruling the player down in this play? Or not down, but you know what I mean. Ruling the ball dead due to progress.
I think that's the same question that we have to ask ourselves that Daniel posed on the last option when we went through. It's really close to the goal line. I think we need to ask ourselves, man, did this player have firm control when Team A hit him and knocked him backwards? If we clearly can see the player have firm control, body part down, and satisfy the time element, which means he gained possession of the ball prior to being contacted by, was that number 13? Then I would say, yes, we can rule forward progress. Man, that would be really difficult to say that let's say the ball came loose as soon as 13 hit him. Are we saying that he completed the process of recovery?
No, but I would disagree with you in the fact that you don't have to complete the time element for forward progress to be established.
Right, because you got to go back to you. I see what you're saying, but yeah,
you have to eventually complete it to use the forward progress spot, but it doesn't have to be sequential.
Correct, because I'm thinking of a receiver who gets hit before his body part even comes down. Yes, we're gonna go to forward progress on that spot. Yes, yeah,
right.
You're right.
It's the same principle, although odd. It's not
It
what
is,
you think about.
yeah. I think my brain would want me to see him really just because there's not a
I hear
standard
you.
forward progress type situation. Like he's not even going
It's really not.
forward. He's not even going forward.
Right.
He's not
So
trying.
it's
He's not
almost
trying to gain
unfair.
yards.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not trying to go north south in whatever his north, I guess, is. Right. I mean,
Right.
yeah. Now he does get contacted, by the way.
He does.
with some pretty significant force.
Right.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I mean, there's
I don't
no
like
right answer.
put it like this. I don't like forward progress.
You don't like it? Okay, so then if you see control in the field of play and no subsequent loss of control, right? Then this is momentum.
Absolutely.
This is momentum. But it's just weird because there's quite a bit of contact by the other team on this guy. So is it momentum? Or would you say, look, he would have slid into the end zone anyway? You know, I don't know. There's a lot of force from the other team.
Yeah.
Man, it's like 6 hands on the ball. It's a lot of stuff going on.
You like touchback.
Man, we just need to really, really, really slow down. I don't know if I like touchback. If I'm the back judge, I think I might like the ball in the field of play. If I'm the side judge or whoever, if that's field judge, side judge, I don't know which one that is. I honestly wouldn't know what to do other than touchback because I just don't see the ball.
You can't see the ball. Yeah.
No, not at all. So on this play, probably what I would do if I was standing on that pylon is I would have something in my head, but I would look up to look at Daniel and see what Daniel's going to do. Of course, he's going to be crying like a little schoolgirl. So I'm going to have to take control of the situation, and then I'll have to walk him through, hey, man, did this guy have firm control in the field of play? You know, so that's probably what I would do on this play.
How fast, these slow motion views are great. And it's always kind of like, but your brain processes this. Your brain doesn't process it in any different speed than it is. However, your recall of this action sometimes does slow down like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what's crazy about these good slow motion angles. So where you at, DY? What are you going to do with this play?
Man, I don't know.
See, what did I say? Crying like a schoolgirl.
Crying like a schoolgirl.
After I'm done crying like a schoolgirl, I just don't think I'm 100% convinced about firm control in the field of play if I'm watching this live, to be honest with you.
Really?
Me too. I agree.
Yeah, I think there's that movement there at the end, and you could say he's got firm control as he's tucking it, but I think that's iffy. There's just that ball movement there after he gets his hands on it that makes me wonder here. Now we have firm control for sure, but I'm not convinced.
You're saying the ball might be already breaking the plane of the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
The ball's got to be completely in the field of play with his control for it to be either progress or momentum.
Which would end up being, the same result in this particular play.
Same result. It's just different method.
But I think, like, in the way it's kind of slides on his helmet, I think I'm probably inclined to go touchback on this.
You're a wuss.
I know. Well, I mean, if I'm crying like a schoolgirl, it's not super tough. And then I'd probably look up in the field judge. It's 2000 looking for his beanbag. He can't find it.
Yeah.
He's got his glasses on in the second half. He didn't have them on in the first half. And I'm super confused. I don't even remember what I was ruling.
The presence of the glasses threw you off. Okay, cool. So a couple things then. If we're doing that, which is fine because you stated why. Do we need this announcement, Mr. Referee? Do we need some type of announcement and why we're ruling what we ruled as a, ruling on the field announcement, or just a signal's good enough? Or what do you think?
I think it would be cool to have an announcement here. Of course, working the referee position, and you've worked it a few times in your career, Brandon.
Yeah.
Nobody who's ruling on this play is going to tell you anything. They're going to act like it was just a simple play that nothing happened.
Right. I challenge that. I would have information. 100%.
You're one in a million, Daniel Young.
Shut up. I don't think you guys are just jaded as referees.
I'm just telling you.
But when you're sitting there on the goal line,
you're going to have to pull it out of. You're going to have to pull
Absolutely. It out. They ain't going to say nothing.
And it's just impossible to know how much smoke there is, when you're standing 75 yards back there.
Well, and here's the thing. As a referee, probably on this play, we're going to have a fairly good look at this because there's really nothing going on back where we are. So we probably going to have an idea of something happened. We're going to see one dude throwing a beanbag on the pylon, one dude running in, another dude running towards him, and then they're going to give some kind of signal, and you're going to be like, okay, what just happened? And nobody's going to say anything. But I would love to have an announcement here on this particular.
I'd go ask Daniel, don't you think that was momentum? And he would.
Yes, he would.
That does sound like something you would do.
He would absolutely say that.
I swear I would. I'd probably be right. No, so I agree. And I just think that, this is reviewable. If it's momentum. I wouldn't, I don't know if forward progress is reviewable here. Goal line's involved, but not the right way. So I don't know. Some replay guru would have to help me out there. I would just probably say momentum or touchback. And then that's reviewable. So if we can put this, if we have an angle that proves control is gained in the field of play and there is no subsequent loss of control, which is iffy, we can create momentum in replay for sure.
Yeah.
Not sure this play qualifies for that, but this is just an interesting play. So I really want to challenge people to report this to the referee. I love how we make every play about the referee, by the way. I love that.
It's not just the referee, though. It's everybody watching.
Yeah.
People on TV are like, what in the world? Why are they giving them the ball at the 20-yard line? The dude, he picked up the fumble at the 1. Why are they giving it at the, So we need to say something.
Or why are they giving it to him at the 1? He's in the
at the 1. Yeah, it's a touchback. He has the ball in the end zone.
I would challenge us to report, make this as priority of reporting to the referee, just as if we threw a flag on for something else,
Here's why I know I would tell you, because I would tell you if this were a punt and I'm in the exact same position as the back judge and I'm watching this ball bound towards the goal line, I'm going to get on, and you may not make an announcement just on a punt and say 4 gained possession at the 1 yard line, or 4 got firm control. Defense gained firm control of the ball in the end zone. The ruling's a touchback. So maybe that's why I feel like I would, just because I know on a punt there's going to be a lot of smoke there, and that's something I'm used to working with.
I like it. I want all that. I know that some referees just say, hey, don't give me everything you got. I personally always want all of that. I'll figure out how to make the announcement. Just to kill the rating here, they actually put this at the 1. This crew put it at the 1. Field judge and back judge both had really strong body language and looked convinced that control was at the 1. I don't know if they ruled him down, ruled forward progress, ruled momentum. I don't know. I didn't listen to the announcement if there was one. I think the TV went out to break real quick. But anyways, there you have it. I don't know. I don't have a right answer here for anybody. I don't know if you want one. I don't have a right answer, but we need to know why we're doing what we're doing. I think that's one of these plays.
Well, it's clear that this crew just doesn't like Oklahoma State. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
You're kind of on this whole You must look at Twitter too much in your old age.
Let me back up, Brandon. Maybe folks don't understand my dry, sardonic humor. I'm joking. Every time I make a joke about the cheating refs, I'm joking. So please don't go calling the supervisor.
Unless there's two teams from the state of Louisiana involved.
Oh, everybody.
Or just one. Or just one.
Cheat against every team that laces them up in Louisiana.
All right, here we go. That one took a while. This one won't. Tell me what you see as we play this. Several angles. Just tell me what you see. Just everybody look. Everybody look at these angles. What do you got?
Oh, boy.
Gigi's already looking. Gigi
already knows, man.
This is the most vague question I've ever heard in my life.
I know. We're just officiating football. I don't know if are you supposed to. Do they tell you what's going to happen before every play? That would make it a little bit easier.
No, but I know a position to work. Now I got to work 8 different positions on.
Well, that's a good point. Well, that's why I'm giving you 4 angles or 5 angles. No, 4. All right. So obviously, zero's in motion. Everybody's had a chance to look at it. Hopefully, zero's in motion, and then watch the right guard. Right guard. So we go from a 2-point to a 3-point stance. Now, as this sideline wide angle comes up, watch the coach down at the bottom. Watch this. See him? It's going nuts. And we actually throw the flag. So we call illegal shift.
Wow.
And what I want to talk about is a lot of things for this very simple nothing play. Okay, so first of all, just to kill the suspense here. Yes, going from a 2-point stance to a 3-point stance is a shift. You guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a shift. Okay, so that's a shift. Now we know that zero's in motion while this happens. Zero never resets. So this is a foul for an illegal shift. It's interesting to watch the coach, and I don't think the official. I don't see a head movement by the official. Looking at the coach, it's not as if the official called this because of the coach. But I'm thinking what happened is it would be Washington in this case may have alerted the officials that Texas maybe is a little sloppy. And I don't know. Maybe you guys work Texas all year, so maybe you did see this. But just the reaction of the coach is like, hey, this is what we talked about or something like that. So do we allow those pieces of information to not influence or affect how we rule, but I guess influence or affect. So a lot of different things to think about here. When you talk to coaches, they bring stuff up perhaps like this. Is that in the forefront of your mind?
Let me ask you a question. Is there ever a circumstance where we would just say, yeah, that's technically a foul, but not one we want to call?
Yeah, and then we got to talk about that. I mean,
I don't know. This isn't part of my load set play in, play out as an official. Clearly by rule, it's a foul.
It is.
And so I would think, I guess the reason I asked that is because I think that might inform your question about if the coach brought it up, does it necessarily change, or because the kind of communication we had with the coach, if something is overtly a foul and there's not a specific officiating standard to address it, and a coach brings it up to us, it's really hard to justify not calling it.
That's exactly it. Right? So those two questions are related, and it's almost like if the other team brings it up, just exactly what you said, we almost have to call it, or it threatens our credibility.
Yeah.
But
unless we're prepared to say, hey, coach, I hear you. If a guy's going down into a stance in his motion, that we don't feel like that rises to the level of a foul. That's, I don't think we can do that. I don't know. Again, this isn't a conversation I would ever be involved in. I don't know how we would do that. But if for whatever reason, because maybe there's other fouls that would apply to, if we were able to say that, then that's one thing. But if we can't say that, and now they brought it up to us, and then they violate the rule, I don't know. Yeah, I think it matters. Or maybe
So
it doesn't. Maybe the wing guys on here are saying, no, we're going to call that 100.
we're going to call this by the book,
whether or not the coach mentions it or not. So in that case, it wouldn't matter.
Right. And I don't know if Ron worked this game. I don't know if he's on tonight or whatever and could chime in, but it would be interesting to know what kind of discussions, if any were about this. And the coach could be going off on something completely different. Maybe his linebacker's out of position or something. I have no idea. I just thought it was interesting that coach comes in the screen kind of ranting and raving right when this happens. And it made me think about how we can get, I don't know, painted into a corner in a way on something that we might be willing to give them a warning on, right? We might be willing to warn them on this.
Right.
And
That's
just, and hey, 52, man, you got to get set earlier. You guys in motion. Quarterback, if your linemen are still getting set and you got a guy in motion, that's technically an illegal shift. And, we can't have this all night. We got to take care of this early or whatever. But yeah, I mean, Todd, 90-minute meeting with the head coach, and they bring this up. What are you talking about with the crew?
Well, before that, I want to talk about it with the coach who brings it up. And I'm sitting here just trying to think about what I do. It depends on the coach, and it depends on the type of relationship that I have. This is a brand new coach, and I don't know him at all. I don't know if I want to. If it's a coach I do know, let me start because that's easier. If it's a coach I do know and I know that I have some kind of rapport with him and we can have a conversation, I would ask him, does he want us to be that technical on the game today? And I think he would understand what I'm asking, because if we're going to be that technical, we're going to have a problem all day long. I think I'm very comfortable, and if he tells us we want to be that technical, I will probably tell him, okay, well, this is what we'll do. If we notice it, we're going to warn him the first time because it's really technical and we don't want to just throw that type of flag. But if they don't clean it up, then we'll flag them in subsequent times. I think a coach will be comfortable with that if they know and understand that, look, we're not going to be looking for fouls all day long, especially this is a semifinal game. Man, we're not looking to throw flags.
Well, there might be a coach that doesn't feel that way, though.
No, I was getting there. If he's adamant, like, no, this is a foul and they can't do that and they're creating an advantage, then I'll say, okay, coach, we will make sure that we talk to the team about it. And if they do this, we're going to throw a flag. And then I'll just have to go and talk to the line of scrimmage officials and tell them, look, this is what Team B's coach, Washington's coach complained about Texas linemen going down into a three-point stance while players are in motion. And he was adamant that it is a foul and we need to call it. So we would just have to call it.
And just
because it's a foul. I mean, like Johnny said, it's a foul, period.
I mean, we kind of need to have that same threshold on both sides, is kind of my point. So if we're doing this, then we need to do it on both sides. And we can't just let one coach say, well, we want this call. Okay, coach. Yes, sir. Just to get out of a conflict. Right?
Yeah, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that.
So that's going to make it a long day for us.
It is.
And potentially them, because now, I mean, because guess what? When we call something like this on them, it's like, well, coach, you brought up, how much is he going to say, oh yeah, you're right, I brought that up on them, so I'm okay with you calling something ticky-tack on us. It's not, right. They never, for some reason, they don't see the logic there, but it's just, well, coach, I mean, we talked in the pregame about calling these line of scrimmage infractions technical. And I hate having those conversations because there's just no way there's no win there. There's no win for us. I don't feel good about those conversations. I feel much better.
Maybe we could ask. Let's say it like this, Brandon. I'm sitting here. I'm still thinking, because this is an interesting topic, honestly. What if they bring it up and we say, and we ask them, do you feel like they are gaining a huge advantage or gaining an advantage when that occurs?
Well, it's illegal. It's illegal.
I know. See, that's what, because, and I want to set the table in a game like this that we are looking for really big fouls.
Yeah.
We are not looking for textbook fouls. because that nobody wants to see that. Nobody at all wants to see that. So I really want to just ask him: does he think they're gaining a big advantage or gaining an advantage by doing that, or does he feel like it's just technically a foul and it's something that we need to address?
Yeah, and I like, Matthew Carpenter in the chat. If we see this in our preparation, because perhaps we have the video of these teams, absolutely, let's go to them. We can not warn, but we can have a good, productive discussion with especially the offensive line coach and the head coach about this, and say, we really just don't want to see this today because you're putting it in our court. So let's just make sure we get set. Let's just make sure we get set.
I like that.
Yeah. But we might not see it. I mean, there's a chance we're not going to see this in our preparation.
Right.
There's also a chance that, we just pull this play out, right? I mean, we just pull this play out of thin air, basically. There's a chance these line of scrimmage officials were working hard with them to get set all game long up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is early in the second quarter. It's like, you know what? I just can't do this anymore. I mean, unfortunately, we got to talk with our flag at times, right? So, we can warn and warn and warn and warn. And then when we see it's like, gosh, you guys are killing me again with this. I'm going to call it. So there's a lot of different things that could have led to this, but I think something as technical as this is interesting because it's absolutely a foul. It's absolutely a foul, but there's so many ways that can lead to this, to us calling this or us not calling this. So there you go.
And I do think if we're going to address, let's say, I don't even know who's the home team. I guess Washington is the home team here. That makes it easier. If Washington is the home team, then we go to the visiting team second.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, we may be able to have a conversation. Now, I would absolutely not say anything about the Washington coach bringing up a play. We do not ever talk to one coach about what another coach said.
I've done that.
Recipe for disaster.
I've done that. That was not a fun night. Yeah, it was not in. I learned a valuable lesson.
I'm sure you did.
The hard way. So that's a free lesson from my mistake.
Because
do not do that. Coach will absolutely go livid. Oh, they're just trying to play games with you, and then they'll start insulting us. It's just a recipe for disaster. And then they'll start insulting them, and they'll get into. Exactly. Do not say that another coach brought that up. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me about that, by the way.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I do think some coaches too, they ask, at the end of the conversation, have you seen anything about us on film? And if they ask that, that's a perfect opportunity to say, yeah, I notice sometimes, when your wide receivers or tight ends go in motion, your line is still going down the 3-point stance. Technically, that's a foul. So you might want to make sure that your line is set before the receivers go in motion. And that's just an easy way to, just tell them about it.
Yeah. So a lot of officials can see this. I think the worst thing to do is just to ignore it. I think we need to address this. And if we feel like we have to address it with our flag because of the multiple reasons we just talked about, which could all, one or many of them could lead to it, that's fine. But it'd be really nice to warn here. It'd be really nice to warn them. Like I said, unless this has been going on the whole first quarter, here we go again. It's just, you hate to have these kinds of fouls, right?
Yep.
But sometimes you do. And sometimes you just unfortunately, we're left with no choice. Punt game. Do a couple punt plays tonight. All right. We are watching B26 block A27. A27 is the right guard. And the pull is very, very straightforward, actually, I think. Well, maybe. What does the poll say? So again, B26 in white blocking A27 in dark blue. The poll asks, is this a foul for offensive holding, foul for defensive holding? It's not a foul because we have a fair catch. Or is it not a foul because of the amount of restriction? So I know we're going to get some votes in here eventually. And I have, of course, a very smart aleck, a couple of smart aleck questions lined up for this play for you, Mr. Slom
That's weird.
and Daniel. Yeah.
I was gonna say why me? I don't even work the punt game.
You don't?
No,
you just
absolutely
take those plays
not.
off. You
Yeah.
just take the play off.
Yeah.
Watch the guy
It's
kick
been
the
that
ball.
way whole career.
Just make sure his knee doesn't touch the ground. They changed that rule yet, by the way? The punter
Nope.
knee touching the ground. That should be a
Nope.
live ball.
Nope.
Just in
Portland
case
State at
anybody's-
BYU.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that should be a live ball. Well, I mean, it was that day. Anyway, it was that day. It was week 0, so I don't think that evaluation quite mattered. Preseason, the slate gets cut clean week 1.
I didn't know that. I like that.
I'm joking.
Number 5 on Rice, by the way, is my son's really good friend from high school. They all still him and it's like 5 of them, they're all together. Oh yeah, they're
That's
really
cool.
really good friends. Yeah.
How was New Orleans?
Oh, I enjoyed myself, man. I ate way too much food, gained weight as
Oh.
usual. Everybody who goes there does. But yeah, loved it.
All right. I mean, this isn't very complicated, so I think we lost some voters, but that's okay. Oh, there's some more coming in.
Texas State's coach is like a good old Texas high school coach too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't that like Texas Tech?
Yep.
Okay, so 74% said it's no foul because of the amount of restriction. So I'm just gonna oh shoot. Hang on. I just need to do something here. Okay. So 20, let's say 26 in this still frame was blocking for a runner. And the runner cut off this block. You're telling me that's not enough restriction for holding?
I didn't know that we officiate holding in still frames.
I was just making a point.
I know. I'm comfortable doing that. If we want to do that, I'm comfortable working the rest of my career in still frame for OH.
Yeah, I know that'd make it easier.
Yeah, exactly.
But if the runner cuts right off this, isn't that enough? I mean, we need to be consistent. So isn't that enough restriction? He's got his arms wrapped around him.
So we introduced our formula. It's almost like the Pythagorean theorem. You know how you got to put in
They're pretty
A,
complex.
B, and C, and all that other crap in there. I don't even know how to do the Pythagorean theorem anymore, but whatever. So we introduced restriction, timing, and proximity. And those are the 3 variables that we use relative to holding to determine if we have a foul for holding. So if a runner was directly at that point when that degree of restriction occurred, we may have a different evaluation than a punt play when the ball is going 900 yards downfield. I don't think it is no restriction, but the degree of restriction needs to be a lot greater.
Perfect. Okay. So that three quarters passed on this because of that reason. Now 9% said there's no foul because the result of the play is a fair catch. Would that be on its own? Would that be a reason to pass on a hold? If you felt like, because really what you're saying, and allow me to put words in your mouth if you answered C, right? Really what you're saying is, yes, it's holding, but I'm just not calling it because it's a fair catch. Is that on its own a reason to pass?
I think that may be a supervisor type deal, because some supervisors make statements like that. If a ball is kicked out of bounds or if it's a fair catch, they make statements about holding calls.
Okay, so he completely turns him and slams him to the ground. Everything else is the same.
Yeah, that may be a little bit of a different distinction.
Yeah, so I would just say that we don't want to pass only because the result is a fair catch. Now, again, like you said, coordinators will do their thing,
right,
and hand down edicts on these different standards or variations of standards. But the only time I believe that we pass solely because of the fair catch is when the restriction happens simultaneous. or near simultaneous to the fair catch.
Yeah, I'm
With
with
that?
you on that. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
DY, what you think?
Yeah, I think where what you're getting at, Brandon, is as an absolute, we're not calling holding if there's a fair catch, and I don't think that's where we want to hang our hat.
That's not where we want to be.
But I do think, and I have another question. I started thinking about this as you were going through. I thought that was a great point about the proximity, degree of restriction, and proximity to the ball carrier. Because maybe there's space in between a throwdown, which I think we would absolutely want to call even on a fair catch.
With this
And
timing,
this kind of restriction. Yeah, with this timing, right? If he throws him down here this early before the fair catch, I think we do want to call that as an offensive hold. If maybe the restriction is greater, but it's not a throwdown and it's so early, we just feel like, and so here's where I'm trying to go is what I think we want to do is just evaluate the impact of the restriction, right? Like he catches this ball and there's not really anybody super close. Two kind of gets down there. If there's a whole lot of traffic and maybe that restriction was significant enough where we felt like, I don't know, this is really drawing the flag out though. Maybe that's not best practice. You see what I'm saying though? Like,
yeah,
I think we just want to have a sense of all of those things because oftentimes on a hold, even if we make this restriction a little bit greater, it's still really, really far away from the ball, right? When he catches it, but on a punt where everybody's running down to cover. So this was my question too, Todd. This is what I was getting at is, does the way we like perceive proximity change when we're running down to cover? You know what I mean? Even if the hold is really far away, do we have to take that into account? Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
Yeah, it does, and I do think
because he's not right there like a linebacker who's going to fill a hole or
Right.
you know, a defensive end who's trying to get inside and there's just a slight tug, but he is trying to get down there to cover, and a step or two could make a huge difference.
A huge difference, and he could be prevented from being in whatever lane he's supposed to be in. You know, these returns are so technical that to me, I don't think we want to fly spec. If we see significant restriction, for me, I'm banging my flag. I'm sorry. I ain't waiting to see if it's a fair catch and all this other crap.
Well, and what I'm saying is I don't think this is that far away. I agree with the assessment we made. I don't think this is the thing that gets me is his feet keep moving. Like he's really not slowed down too much. There's that shoulder turn, but I don't think we're very far away from this being significant enough when we're running down to cover a punt to rising to the level of an OH.
Not at all. Not at all. And I guess put another way, I've heard some advice on kick plays that say, hey, look, if you need a point of attack on a kick play, just the whole field is the point of attack.
Correct.
Oh, and that's because they're running down, and just what Tuta said is they're running down. They have assignments, they have coverage lanes, they have whatever you want to say. So the whole field is the point of attack. Now, that doesn't mean we just say we're going to call every little tug, right? We still need to see significant restriction and evaluate impact, like you said. But there's no, I mean, if it's early in the kick play, it's at the point of attack.
Right. But I do think we need to take into account the total engagement of the players, because when they first engage, number blue 27, he's trying to stop white 26. Then after about a half a second, he's like, all right, this dude ain't gonna get back there. Let me get rid of him and go downfield. So now A26 is saying, well, hold on. Now that I've held this dude up, I need to try to hold him up a little bit longer. So I don't think, to me, I want to see the initial engagement almost finish before I start determining if there's some restrictive action, unless one of the two restrictions is clearly egregious, because both players are really trying to hold each other in place at the beginning.
Agree. And that's, there's just really not enough there from a restrictive action standpoint to rise the level of foul. So I think we're good with the 3 quarters that answered that way. Now let's address offensive versus defensive holding. This would be in the category of offensive holding, even though we've talked about this a few times, but I know we have some new folks. This would be in the category of offensive holding because it's turning into a situation where B26 is now trying to prevent A27 from covering the kick. Right? So it turns into more
unless
what?
This is not a PSK foul. Then it will have to revert back to defensive holding.
Yeah, which is really, really strange.
It's very strange, and I don't
you're right.
like it, but that's what we've been told
you're right.
to happen.
I got you on that. I got you.
Yeah.
At its core, this is an offensive hold
100.
category that we feel like is not a foul for offensive holding, but it's an evaluation that we have to make for offensive holding. And the only reason that we're calling it offensive holding is because it is post scrimmage kick in nature. I understand what you're saying. If B touches and A falls on it and we have a flag down for this, it reverts to defensive holding, which would just be declined. So it's not a big deal. But so if we had a foul for this, based on this play, we would want to call offensive hold. We want to report offensive holding. If we report defensive holding, talk about basic spot. So if somebody comes to you and reports defensive holding on this, and we don't start asking questions, this is going to be from the previous spot with A keeping the ball.
Yeah.
Which that's not what the rules want. No, that wouldn't be good. So we wouldn't want this reported as defensive holding. Now, of course, if it's a hold in a pull and shoot type of situation where you have B26 pulling A27 aside to allow somebody to shoot through and try to block the kick. Now it is defensive holding. That's defensive holding. It could look similar. But I don't know how you call pull and shoots personally. But if you have pull and shoot, that's defensive holding. More of a hold to set up the return would be offensive holding. All right.
Got it.
Cool.
Our guy Brad Frisbee is asking, how would we report when we say holding on the receiving team, or what would we say?
Yeah, absolutely. Holding, receive. I mean, I would hope we hear. Well, I'm just going to have a lot of questions in my brain based on how it's reported. If somebody just says holding defense number 27, I'm sorry, holding defense number 26, right? That could happen, unfortunately. So wait a second. You're saying receiving team 26? Yes. Okay. Awesome. So it's holding receiving team number 26. Now, was it during the kick? Yes. Okay. Was he blocking to set up a return? Yes. Okay, great. Now I know the basic spot is the end of the kick. Right? We'll just go PSK. If any of the answers to those questions are no, we got a different situation. So I don't know how y'all want to go through that, but that's kind of what goes into my mind.
Well,
I've had it reported worse than that, by the way. So
of course. This is what you're going to get, holding blue. Yeah, holding blue or holding white. And you're going to be like, what are you talking about?
Okay, hang on. What's the number? Don't know. Okay, no big deal. Don't worry about a number. It's fine. Is it the receiving team or the kicking team? Just so we know. Oh, good question. I mean, okay. We got to stand there forever and figure it out. Yeah, I would want the keys here are during the kick, holding receiving team, and then hopefully the calling official understands if this is a foul to set up a return or a foul more intended to help block the kick.
Well, if it's the deep wing who throws it, and we had a question about Ryan asked about who would see this. Hopefully, a deep wing wouldn't be throwing this flag. Maybe a line of scrimmage potentially. I don't know. I would like to see this. Hope to see this. If I'm the referee and I'm using soft eyes, I would hope to see this because there's no reason for me to watch the kicker at all. There's like literally nothing going on with him. So if I'm watching the kicker, what did Brad say? My eyes are unemployed if I'm watching the kicker.
Greatest line in the history of pure officiating camps. 9 camps, and that's the best line. There's been a ton of them, but that's the best one. That's the best one. Let's go. Okay. Do you want me to get upset, or do we want to go through a interesting chain gang play? What do you want to do?
Oh, I hate the chains. I literally hate every chain.
Let's do it then. Get you upset. Let's go.
Make me upset. Okay.
Let's go back. We're back in. Wasn't this the Sugar Bowl?
That's an amazing stadium that will host the Super Bowl next year for the 9th time.
Oh, really?
Record 9th time. There should be no other place to host the Super Bowl. No other place. I'm telling you, there's no better place than right there, down in New Orleans on Poydras Street, in the Caesars. I'm not going to say that. I refuse to say that. In the Superdome. I'm not putting the title on that.
Gambling. So we had a punt and we had a fair catch. All right. We had a fair catch. We're going to have I got to set up this situation for you. So we just have some things going on the bench, but number 4, the punt returner, throws the ball to the deep wing, and the line of scrimmage official does a really nice job preventing number 16 in the white jersey from doing something that probably wasn't so nice. So anyways, I just thought that was a good job to point out. Now watch this. Watch the center judge just hustling down, and the ball boy just whiffs. See that? I mean, come on, man. Anyways, that's an aside as well. Anyways, the ball ends up getting put down right there at the 24-yard line. You got that? See the ball on the left hash going out at the 24?
Yeah.
What do you notice about the football, just in its placement, just in general, just observationally?
Looks like the back of the ball's on the tick.
The back of the ball?
Who's going which way? Offense is going to the right. We're going left to right, huh?
We're going out. We just punted down there. The offense is kind of backed up on the 24.
Gotcha.
Well, I see the ball on the 24, left hash. I don't know what else you want us to recognize.
I kind of see the nose of the ball kind of on the back edge of that hash mark ish, right? Like it's not as if the ball is, significantly over the hash mark. You agreeing with me, or am I seeing things?
I agree with you.
Might be a reason I'm asking. Okay, so very good. Balls, I have the nose of the football kind of just touching the back edge of the line. Okay, so now fast forward in this same possession, we've run a couple plays, and now it's 3rd and 4. Okay? It's 3rd and 4. Let's just watch these plays unfold. Oh, boy, it's a tight play. Tight play to the line to gain. I mean, look at how tight this is. Really good camera shots. So
the bullet is in the wrong place.
Okay, thank you.
And
you already noticed that.
Down marker's in the wrong place.
You already noticed that, I see.
They pay me to observe things, Brandon. I don't know what they pay you to do, but they pay me to observe things.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. We even have pylon cam here. It's a tight play. I don't know what the ruling, whatever the ruling. I believe the ruling was a first down. We'll just call it what it is. But this is so tight. We're ruling it from our angle, and then obviously it's going to. Well, I got a couple questions, but there's our guy Ron. He's under the hood, not under the hood. He's at the monitor. So as this angle, I'm going to show you exactly what you observed. All right, look at the top of the screen, the 34-yard line. And look at where the chains are. So it's either the chains are either 10 yards plus a few inches, or we got them in the wrong place, right?
God damn it. You got to be kidding.
It's just because this looks to me like they got to get completely, the nose of the football has to get completely beyond that tick to become a first down. Is that what it looks like to you?
Yeah,
it does.
And in reality, when the ball's ruled dead, based on what it was a fair catch, and we put the ball rightfully. Even though the ball boy airmailed us, throwing the ball in, we regrouped and we put the ball with the nose of the football was touching the 24. That's how we do it. 10-yard chains. All we need is the nose of the football to be breaking the 24-yard line when the ball is ruled dead. It's not like the goal line where it's just automatically a first down, obviously, if the ball gets there. But it's got to be ruled dead with the nose of the ball breaking the plane of the 24. So, I'm sorry, the 34. Isn't this frustrating to look at? And
It's infuriating. It's not frustrating. It's infuriating.
how do we, I don't know. It's nobody's fault. I think this happens a little bit more than we'd like to admit to all of us. But man,
here's something, Brandon. I've been officiating for a few years. I honestly don't know the answer to this. Where does the line of scrimmage officials tell these dudes to put the chain? Does it go to the back of the to the back of the line, to the front of the line, or to the middle of the line?
It goes to where the nose of the ball is. And when
we got a touch, let's say we have a touchback, 25-yard
yeah,
line. Where are we putting that chain? The back of the line, the front of the line, or the middle of the line?
Back of the line. Because a first down is the nose of the ball breaking the plane of the 35 after a touchback.
Correct.
So there's be no difference here.
Okay.
Be no difference here. Fair catch gives us, and that's why we've always forever, when we have a change of possession, we are going to start with, the nose of the ball on the back of the line. And I mean, we might not place it perfectly, but that's where it is. The chains need to be placed like that. So it's just some instruction to the chain crews. And I don't know who, this is not anybody's fault, but it's just something for everybody to be aware of. Because let me ask you this. So are you going to measure this?
No.
Ooh.
The
Why
only
not?
reason we stop in the game is if someone challenges the spot or if replay stops the game for the spot. If the line of scrimmage official says it's the first down and we're going, I don't care. And if the coach wants to ask, I'll say, look, we started the possession on the 24-yard line. We got beyond the 34. This is a first down.
Okay, good. So you're aware of that. And we should be. We should be aware of that. We started on the 24. We don't have to start on a big line.
No.
We start on a yard line.
Yeah.
We started on the 24.
And this dude went past. He's spotting it past the 34.
Exactly.
It's a first down.
The ruling on the field's a first down.
Let's go.
And look where that is. Look at that bullet. That target is beyond the 34. So this is confusing because if we bring the chains out, and measure, I don't know. The chain is going to come down on, look, we're dead. The ball's dead, like right on the hash. So the chain's going to come down almost really beyond the 34 slightly. And it's just a mess. So, okay, so good. You're not going to measure.
Hold on, Brandon. Hold on. Not necessarily. If we bring the chains out, hopefully we would know that we started on the 24-yard line. And when we actually measure, we will put that clip right on the 30-yard line, and then we should be fine.
Well, but it depends on where it's clipped.
I would hope that it's clipped on the 30.
Where?
Or the 25. Doesn't matter where, because he's going to pick it up, and whoever's who places it down? Is it the headline judge?
Headline judge.
Yeah, he's going to place it on wherever the hell he's supposed to place it, middle, back, front.
So that'll fix it.
Yeah, it'll fix it.
Because what you're saying is then that even if the chains were off the way they were set, the way we see them, you're saying that should fix it if we set the clip right.
Yes.
We don't have to reclip it.
No.
Yeah, good point. Okay, I like that. Okay, but the better answer is to not measure. We
ain't measuring. Yeah, that's for sure. We certainly ain't measuring.
Line of scrimmage, we want to spot it right where we think it is. I mean, we're not gonna, play games here. Spot it where you think it is for sure, but we're not measuring. Wherever he puts it, if it's past the 34, if that nose of the football is into the 34, it's a first down. Okay, what about, is this reviewable? How do we? I mean, what about being reviewable, and do they care where the chains are set? I mean, are they saying, look, he's got to get beyond the nose of the ball has to be completely beyond the 34 because of where the chains are, or are they going off where we started?
That's a great question.
I have no idea.
That is a good question.
So anyways, a little frustrating, right? A little frustrating when these things, it takes a lot of people to work a football game. And it's nobody's fault, because probably somebody could have said something a little more clearly. Probably somebody could have done their job perhaps a little better. And maybe there just wasn't very good communication. I know we had the ball set down in a really good spot after the fair catch. That's clear on video. But stuff like this happened. And then, of course, the play, the third down play is right there. I mean, it's right there. And so we just know that. I love what you said, man. We know where we started after a change of possession, so we know where we got to get. And you really don't even need the chains in this situation, right? You really don't even need them.
No.
I mean,
No.
you need the reference point, but if that nose of the ball is breaking the plane of the 34, when we mark it dead, we set it down, it's a first down, and we're going.
Well, one challenge would be, though, is because we are on a tick mark, the line of scrimmage official could just run in and get a spot and not necessarily because they're not looking at the tick marks where they're standing. You would think that that's you know, as someone who's just watching the game, like you're standing right on the tick mark. How can you not know?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're not looking at that. They're looking in the field of play. So they may run in and just spot this ball without knowing if it's behind or beyond that tick because it's not a big line.
Yeah. Well, I would say that for sure would happen if this was more in the side zone or like between the hashes. You know, he does have a decent reference point here.
Yes, hopefully he does. Yeah.
He's looking right at the 34. And, you know,
Correct.
This just happens fast. And his angle pushes the ball forward a little bit. That can happen. That doesn't only happen on camera. It happens to us. He just felt like the guy got the ball past 34, which is
correct.
It's fine. Absolutely fine. And made a call. And we look good doing it, whatever. But so I do think he actually has the 34 as a reference here but your point's well taken to me in the fact that if this is in the side zone, you're just going to put the ball down.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's going to put the ball down. He's going to be like,
yeah. Well, then we might have to measure.
Exactly. That's where I was going, Brandon. We would. And I always want to fight a line of scrimmage official. To me, I'm like, man, either give them the first down or don't. But a line of scrimmage officials will absolutely put that ball exactly where they feel like it should be, whether appropriate spot for progress is. And that's what I was about to say. And they should. No matter what stupid referees say, put the ball where it's supposed to be. And if we got to measure, we got to measure. Sorry. It just is what it is.
So if this happened on first or second down, we're not reviewing it. We're not measuring.
No.
If this happens on third down, I think replay gets a little more fired up about this stuff.
Yeah. And if it's on
third going to fourth, and if of course
you can just fourth. We're gonna
you can probably just be ready for the page. So, okay, well, I don't know. Another thing to think about. I know it's only February 12th, but I want to write this, just write it down and just see. Again, it's nobody's fault. It's just the fact that where are we in the game right here? I don't even remember. Third quarter maybe, but it's just, we just get to work in the game and I don't know. I don't want to use the word complacent. And again, I'm not placing blame on anybody, but it's something for us all to be aware of. It happens to every single one of us in some way, shape, or form. And it really didn't, I'm pretty sure the sun came up the next day. And we definitely had that 24 as the reference point to go and get to the 34. And then replay did make it short. Believe this is the angle. It was just a great shot. Although that is actually in advance of the line of gain. The pylon cam from the line to gain, even though the line to gain cam was too far forward, right? It was too far forward. So this is a mess.
It's a total mess.
The total mess. So anyways, all right, there you go. Maybe we'll ask Ron. I can't imagine Ron Snodgrass getting upset at anything, by the way. He's such a nice guy. So he would never, I'm sure he just said, it's okay. It's fine. No, as he's fuming on the inside.
Hey, let's clear something up right quick, Brandon. Ryan Leininger is attempting to say that maybe the field wasn't marked properly. Does he know that is the Louisiana Superdome? There's 0% chance that field is not marked correctly. I'm sorry. Any other stadium, fine. But the Louisiana Superdome, that field is marked correctly.
With a laser?
I'm not going to say what techniques are used because it's proprietary, but that amazing field is marked perfectly.
Okay. It may have been done, like on Mardi Gras or something. So we got to be worried.
Yeah, we need to check the field for sure. I think that's a valid point, Ryan.
Just check it.
12 crawfish equal a yard. That's pretty
There you
good.
go.
12 crawfish equal a yard. Okay, here we go. Let's use another play to get better again. Now look.
Wait, Brandon, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm sitting on my couch. I'm not sure where everyone else is sitting. Can you please? We do have some newer people, as you like to point out. Can you explain how a person is impossible for a person to get better from the couch? Because you've said that multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we are studying, we load our subconscious, and it takes a long time. But then to truly realize improvement and realize gains in our craft, we need to apply it. So that was what you're referencing was taken out of context.
Oh, okay. Because you just mentioned getting better. You said we were about to get better. I'm sitting on my
we are preparing. We're preparing to get better.
Oh,
you can go out to the field after this if you want. You're going to need 22 players, a pylon, a football. You're going to need a bunch of other stuff. We can just leave the chains, and I think the chain. No, this is goal to go. We're good. We don't need any chains. Okay, so we are going to have, and this is just excellent judgment, by the way, on behalf of the side judge. So we're going to have some really nice judgment here. We do have trips left. We do have trips left with a swing. I don't know. What is this play? Like the quarterback runs out and throws a swing pass. I think we're good. Look at how slow and composed the side judge is. Video kind of cuts off, I guess. But one of these angles probably shows that the side judge processes all this, goes up with touchdown. I think it's excellent judgment. Slow motion replay, great. We hit the pylon with our knee right there. The ball looks to be very likely breaking the plane. Certainly if this was my views from the replay booth, which I've never done. You have this, but I would argue there's not enough to overturn this to short if the ruling is touchdown, correct?
I would
Correct.
agree.
But we got to work on our visual mechanics. So this is going to be a play where we're going to stop it, and we have what happened to my yellow arrow? I don't know if the yellow arrow is hidden. We have two blocks of interest. We have a runner with the football, and then we have the yellow arrow might be hidden. The yellow arrow shows that we are pressing our O2O button right now from the headline judge position. So I was pretty skeptical of how valuable the O2Os would be when they came in, because I was worried we're going to get super distracted and, focus on the wrong things. I have become I'm in favor of them. I think they add more certainly than they add more than they take away. However, we do not need to be getting on the O2O during the play at this level of our development. In my opinion, this is my opinion, and I hope to hear some disagreements. So we're getting on the O2O, and we're probably talking about whether it's maybe it's a forward backward pass, maybe it's caught behind or whatever. This is trips to our side, and we're focused on this player with the football. We're on our O2O, and we lose all sight of these two very impactful blocks that help this runner score a touchdown. This is what I want to do. I want to use this play to hear from other viewpoints, because here's mine. Get off the O2O during the play. Back judges don't need to tell us there's a fair catch signal. Nobody needs to be telling us where the pass is caught during the play. We have our own responsibilities. And surely, if we've got responsibilities in our area that we need to be officiating, we cannot let this O2O button and our desire to over-communicate, which we get is from a really good place. It's from a really good place. We cannot let that distract us from doing our other job, because right here, the line judge is really more responsible for where this pass is touched, especially since there's trips to the headline judge's side. Okay, I'll stop. And I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with any of that, but let me know where you're at with some of this stuff.
I've worked with people who do it both ways. I've worked with line of scrimmage officials who get on and say beyond, behind, forward pass, backward, whatever. I don't know what all the crap they say, but I've worked with officials who do that. I've worked with officials who don't do that. I would say that it's a preferential thing from a crew to crew perspective. I'm on the same side as you, Brandon. I would prefer not to hear any of that crap while I'm trying to process the game. But there are some folks who do it, and they have a very good reason for doing it. So who am I to say if they're right or wrong?
The problem with doing it is, so there's the element that you mentioned too, Todd, that maybe you don't want to hear it as you're trying to make your decisions and officiate your areas of responsibility. So that's one thing. The other thing is, you just wonder, are any of us good enough to process all of the details we need to process oftentimes when we're officiating action, and do that while we're simultaneously physically doing something? And I don't want to over exaggerate it. Like maybe it's rote at this point. We can just do that without having to make it a conscious movement.
Incorrect. Incorrect.
Okay.
I rebuke that.
Okay. So then, even if that were the case, we're having to think, to speak and focus on what we're communicating. And I just don't know that we're going to be efficient. Efficient's not the right word. I just don't know that if we're going to be aware enough to do all of those things as well as we need to officiate all of those details, and then think about, and because what we have to do here on a play like this is, first of all, like we could have a whole conversation about how detailed do we need to officiate this catch, right? From the headline judge position with trips. We could have that whole conversation. But even if we land where we really need to officiate it, we have to wipe it. Like we've got to swipe that catch as soon as it's over and now go to something else. And if we're stopping and not stopping, if we are communicating something about that catch as we're transitioning to what we're supposed to be officiating next. And I'm like you, like I'm not trying to tell anybody how to do their business. I just don't think we're going to be able to do that 100%. I don't think we're going to be able to get to that new thing we need to officiate if we're still trying to talk about the old thing we just got done officiating. I've always kind of felt that way, but like you said, I guess if you can do that and the crew's comfortable with it, but from a personal perspective, it's not something I feel like we want to advocate for.
Yeah, I agree.
How do you have that conversation though with a crewmate? If let's say the crewmate is doing that, we're both working at the same level. Who are you to tell me that I can't press a button and still do my other duties at the same time? How do we have that conversation with a crewmate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm certainly nobody to tell anybody else to do anything except for just like, hey man, quit doing that. That's stupid. And I want you to quit doing that shit. Like that's not helpful. And you're going to put yourself at risk by doing that. I'm just telling you, you may not like it, but that's how I feel about it. And I love you.
So I would probably think the conversation would be more like, at least if it was me, I'd be like,
don't get intellectual, Brandon. Don't get it.
Why are you doing that? No, that's not.
That's exactly what Brandon would say. Why are you doing that?
Why are you doing that? Just curious. Why are you telling me where the pass is caught in this case? Because I think that's what we're doing. It could be forward, backward.
My mentor.
Yep.
But even forward, backward. Well, I mean, I guess forward, backward takes OPI off the table. If it's caught behind, OPI is up. But again, that can all be handled later. Yeah. And you're right. You're going to hear a lot of interesting answers to my question of why. And if we just have a very productive conversation around that, we might get to a better place. If we have these blocks that we didn't see at all, we could have a pretty good conversation around what we need to do to get these blocks, right? And getting on the O2O probably isn't the best thing to do that.
Yeah.
Kenny Wilson doesn't mess around. See Kenny's chat? He says, you are pushing that button, talking and watching those two blocks very poorly. So that's Kenny's approach. That's pretty good. Obviously, we have a lot of responsibilities here. If you just want to talk visual mechanics, you've got trips. It's a stack or a bunch, whatever we call that. And so I don't know how this all is. It a bunch? I think it's a bunch, isn't it?
It is a bunch.
Yeah, it's a bunch.
Stack would be 2.
Stack is only 2 players?
Yeah.
That's dumb. Anyways, so let him declare. You need to listen to me talk about this like a fish out of water. So you let him declare. How do you figure out who has who? I guess whoever's the most outside, that's the side judge. Is the back judge working over here? I assume.
Oh, yeah, for sure. On the inside block.
Inside block?
Mm-hmm.
So where do we want the headline judge? That's an interesting question. I mean, is the headline judge more inside? If you want to talk a little bit more about, like, we don't need to watch him catch the ball. The ball's at his his helmet
I was
height, right?
alluding to that. We don't need to officiate the catch.
So we may get a sense of this pass, but then as fast as we can, we need to snap our vision to the next block. So is the next block? The smallest amount of head movement is going to be the inside block. At the
Inside
6-yard
block,
line.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I think will be the most optimal place for the headline
Okay.
judge to work. Especially if you're working the game with Daniel Young and he's working that block, he's going to be horrible at it. So please help out.
what is your deal tonight?
Yeah.
It's
So the
just
side judge
done
on
too
an
good.
island, but the side judges used to be on an island with
Exactly.
this
Side
matchup,
judges can
so-
manage that all day long.
All right. So
Hey,
got
but
that from start to finish. Mhm.
We've had that conversation. May not be 100% applicable here. Corey brought up a really good point one time. We were talking about these kind of plays and the challenges for a side judge as the pylon becomes threatened, the goal line and the sideline are threatened, and then having a block that's material to that run and really leaning on the back judge to come and help on those, which is something that I've taken away, from our VSG time, because that wasn't something that was in my kind of thought process before that. And so there's that. I mean, at the time this block really occurs, it's not threatened, but you could feel that threat coming, as the side judge, as you're standing there on the pylon. So I don't know if, I don't know if you would say, look, somebody come help me over here. Maybe not. I guess the point is, do we want 2 eyes on the inside block or do we want 2 sets of eyes on the outside block?
Well, you
I
could
think
say
the inside
outside
block is most impactful at the time it occurs. And then the outside
Yeah.
block is most impactful later after the inside block has almost finished up. So I just think from the timing
for this
perspective-
play,
Yes. for this
I agree. For this play, the outside block is the one that to me is clearly a foul that we would want called. But the inside block is iffy. It has all the makings there to become holding. So yeah, I mean, you don't want to play the result off one play and say, well, we need to get our eyes on that outside block. But
Right.
Corey's point is interesting. I don't know what Corey would say then. Would he say that as the deep wing, he's expecting help with the outside block since the pylon is going to be threatened?
I don't think
feel
not
feel
because of the timing on this one.
Yeah, because the ball is at the 10-yard line when
Yeah.
that block really becomes. So I think probably
I like that.
he would say no, but I just like that concept.
Yeah. I mean, and is it too much to ask our line of scrimmage people? Can you get both of these blocks? Is
That's
that,
too much. to ask.
Too much?
Yeah.
Because that's really already you're going to be evaluating that at the 6-yard line, pretty much where it's circled. Hopefully, instead of worrying about 0-2-0, worrying about watching the runner, we're evaluating the 6-yard block. I'm sorry, the block at the 6-yard line, and the outside block's already kind of transpired, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I like the 0-2-0.
I hate those.
Actually, I really like line of scrimmage officials too, by the way.
No, you don't.
I'm not picking on line of scrimmage. If anybody wants my playlist of all the plays I screwed up this year, it's ready to go.
All
Send me
right,
your
please
email.
send it.
out.
Yep, I would love
Okay,
to see it.
I'll send it to you. I don't know your email address, so I can't send it to you. But I can send all my highlights, all my lowlights this year. This isn't a picking on anybody. This we all have it, right? but this is like we're on the O2O, we're watching the runner, and this is just something we could all get better from the couch.
So our crew had a conversation about the O2O this year, Brandon, because
Really?
we got to the point. Absolutely, we got to the point where we realized that we were all doing way too much talking on the O2O, especially at critical moments.
Yeah.
And then it would be a challenge when it was time for us to actually communicate critical information for us to really complete that communication transaction. Because I think a lot of us were just used to hearing noise and just tuning it out. And so we had a really good conversation about O2O.
Did you come up with that? Did you actually come up with the communication transaction?
Yes, that's original.
I like that because that's really
cool.
No.
I
like it.
that.
Let me just color that up a little bit. So the difference between communicating and the communication transaction is the transaction is like the thing that matters, right?
Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I like that.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. Super cool.
Yeah, because how's that saying go? The fallacy in communication is that it actually happened or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's good.
And there's no such thing as I'm a great communicator. There's no such thing as that because communication involves two people. Yeah, you can't be a great communicator unless all of your communication has been properly received by whoever you're communicating with.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really had a conversation about the O2O. It impacted us from a replay perspective as well, because we would have a bunch of people asking replay officials for information all at the same time. And it's like, who am I listening to? Who am I talking to? And it just got to be a mess. So we did have a pretty good conversation about it. I personally hate the O2O. I would like to just implode them all and just destroy them all. And let's go back to old school. Let's work football just like we did on when we learned originally back in whenever it was. Some of us all only work with O2O, I guess. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's just supplement. It just needs to be viewed as a supplement. And
so what is the time when you say you like it? What give us examples of?
The two things that I love, actually the three things now since we implemented it. Sub mechanics, I think it's beautiful for sub mechanics. We did that.
Help me with that. What does that mean?
You got. I mean, basically, it's two words: sub or matchup.
Who is saying that? So the deep officials are saying that, or line of scrimmage is saying. Who's saying?
Or back judge. Yeah, usually the deep officials.
Okay.
But like way back in the day, when we first had him, Daniel was integral. I mean, he did a great job from the back judge position communicating that as well.
Yeah.
And that's where I found a lot of use out of it. And then so I got sub mechanics. I think it's really helped. Now we still do our normal thing, right? We still do our iron cross. We still put the center judge over the football. I mean, we still obviously do all that, but it's just supplemental to the alert. Especially like for those of us that actually manage the game, like the center judges and umpire crew of 7, you might have your attention elsewhere. Team starts to go fast. You got a sub that you're never gonna see, and maybe the referee won't ever see it, and you hear it in your ear. You just rely on that.
Right.
Rely on that. And then I just think it's huge with clock stats.
Hold that one. So do you feel like do you feel like that needs to be said every single play by the someone on the crew, or does it need to be said only when it's not recognized by the two officials that are managing that substitution process?
I could see it both ways. The crew I currently work on says it every time.
Every time, okay.
And I like it. But I mean, it's supplemental. I mean, look, to your point, 90% of the time you already know they're substituting.
Right.
It's that other 5 or 10% of the time where that audio alert really helps.
So if you recognize it, do you say sub?
No.
Okay. If referee recognizes, does he say sub?
No. It's really the deep guys. You're right. I've never thought about that question until you just asked it. I like that.
So, well, I don't like it. I didn't like it or dislike it. I was asking.
No,
a question.
I know I like the question
Oh,
because I've never thought about it. The deep guys are the ones that pretty much verbalize it.
so
only.
why? My question is why are we alerting the entire crew that there's a sub, or are we alerting the referee and center judge or umpire that there's a sub?
Well, yes, everybody. It's the entire crew.
Okay.
Because now, let's say the side judge has the offense, in other words, is on the offensive sideline,
Right.
and the field judge has defensive players coming on. The field judge heard the side judge say sub. So now the field judge knows that we're in a defensive matchup situation.
Okay.
Now, it's not the field judge's job. I get that, but we're just all on the same page.
Sure.
I just think it's helped us administrate the substitution rule tremendously.
Okay.
The other one that for me is clock status. I think just clock status. I think it's huge on clock status.
Yeah, I agree with that one 100%. The old look for somebody in the back side, that's going out the window. We don't need to go looking for somebody who's not going to be winding or putting the cross up or whatever it is. Nobody's doing that stuff.
And then the third one we've implemented, and it's total over communication. You're probably going to laugh about it, but we've implemented on penalty enforcement where this is the person that's got the football marking it off, say the enforcement spot and then say the spot we're going to, just so everybody knows what we're doing.
Oh, 25 to the 20.
Yeah, whatever. And I mean, a false start. No, there's a funny joke about 4 yards in there somewhere, but I don't think we really need to say it on a false start. But when we get into holds downfield or you got DPI, whatever, you've got whatever it is, the more, I dare say, complicated ones, certainly fouls after changes of possession. It just really helps, and
how does that help?
Agree.
How does that help?
Somebody can say, yep, agree, let's go. It's just everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
You've got your tremendous replay people cued in to what's going on the field. They have some administrative responsibility at times if the penalty is enforced incorrectly, which should not happen.
Is the reporting official reporting their foul over the O2O as well?
I personally prefer a funny whistle to start, a preliminary signal, a point towards the offending team, and then a number over the O2O. I look for the preliminary signal both in my old days and my current role, and I got everything.
And there are crews that always, especially replay officials, that say you need to open up your O2O while you're reporting your foul, so we know what's going on.
I think if it's complex, that's appropriate. But if it's garden variety, I just like that preliminary signal. Give me the number. Let's go. I got it all. I'm going to work. I'm trying to beat the referee's announcement.
Does the referee have his earpiece in while he's making his announcement, or does he take it out?
The referee I work with has his in.
Okay, so y'all are sitting there chirping about all this other BS while he's trying to make his announcement, is what you're saying?
No. There's not all this other BS. He makes his announcement.
25 to the 20. While he's sitting here trying to say the foul is on number 25, and he might say number 20.
I'll never say that during his announcement. Sometimes I beat him, and then sometimes I don't. But I'll never say it during his announcement. Yeah. But again, that doesn't take the place of looking for the headline judge, giving the 1, 2, 3 signal or the half, and then going. Like, that doesn't replace all that. It's just supplementary.
Okay.
And it just gives me it's a warm fuzzy, man.
Yeah.
That warm fuzzy feeling.
Where does that come from, by the way? Is that a blanket? Is that
Gotta be a blanket.
Saying a derivation from? We should have a poll here. Our chat poll: blanket or comforter? I have this is very blanket or comforter.
Really? How did we?
Yes, that's a serious question.
You don't get this stuff everywhere, honestly.
No, that's right. which is
Well,
good.
Bilica lives in the Northeast Tundra, man. You got to have everything. I mean, there's nothing.
Are you asking what you call it or what you prefer?
No, what you
Yeah,
prefer.
what are you saying?
Do you prefer
Yeah,
a blanket or a comforter?
Right. Yeah.
Let's say you're sitting on the couch watching TV. What are you grabbing, a blanket or a comforter? Come on.
Well, that's a different question. That's a different question, though. That's
No,
still
it's not.
Grab
It's
something
not.
else. Never mind. Sleeping is a comforter.
Okay, it's interesting.
Depends on the time of year too. Like you can't, I mean, I don't know. You don't need to know comforter when it's 110 out.
Well, maybe I'm a strange dude, but I
well.
do not give me a blanket ever. I'm gonna throw it in the garbage. I may
Wow.
spit on it. I hate. Oh my God, I hate blankets. I hate them.
Interesting.
Just that feeling of a blanket is the most annoying thing in the history of the world.
It doesn't give you the warm fuzzy.
It
doesn't
does
give you the
not.
warm fuzzy. That's why.
It does not. I hate it.
So,
That's weird.
huh? Well,
Okay, sorry for that. What do you call
no,
that?
that was good. That's a great way to end.
No, I want to hear about DY and this
Fuzzy-
O2O thing because the O2O thing is kind of fascinating to me, honestly. Because I want to
they're
be
putting you
better.
in, dude. They're
I
putting
wanna-
you in Snuggies now, man.
No,
They're putting you in Snuggies.
no. We're
Two
not
guys
doing-
got 3 different colors of Snuggies. Is what I heard. I don't know.
Wow. What did you want to hear? DY's O2O, and then we got to go.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
He didn't say anything about the way he likes O2O usage or if he likes O2O, if it needs to be thrown in the garbage with the blanket.
He's one of those guys that's on the O2O too much.
all day long. I know. I was setting him up.
Not true.
Oh shoot! My bad.
It's not true.
Fair catch. Beanbag. 22.
No.
I just step forward.
Stop.
Here's my touch signal. Point.
I'll use it to fuss at somebody else on the crew now and then.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Well, because like if I'm out here on an island counting 11 guys on defense and I don't feel like I'm getting reciprocated, I might have to get on the O2O and just ask for support compassionately and kindly.
Come on.
I use it for subs a lot. I use it to communicate. I found often auto subs because
Yes.
the scrimmage
That's a good one.
officials are managing all that stuff. And so usually it's me or the referee that recognizes we need to go to auto subs.
Really?
So I use it for that.
So if the referee is in the Iron Cross, he clearly recognizes sub for NCAA mechanics.
Mhm.
Are you still going to say sub? Because Brandon made mention of
No,
like the defensive people need to know if there's a defensive somebody.
I'll say matchup.
Okay. Well, hold on. Okay. Oh, if you see the referee in the sub mechanic,
Yeah.
then you would say matchup. If
Yeah, because that's where I'm looking as soon as I know we're in sub mechanic, because I'm
got it.
going over to the defense and looking in their sideline.
Got it.
But on a supplementary basis, you could have heard the deep wing say sub, and then you know to say matchup.
Yeah, I too.
Because if you hear the sub audible version, that's as good as Iron Cross.
But we could
now,
be
of course,
in a-
there's
we could
enough.
be-
If there's significant time that's gone by, that's a different story. But
Yeah, but you could be in the Iron Cross as a referee looking at something and then thinking the substitution offense is done, and then another round of subs comes in.
And we need to know that. I was just about to say that, DY.
need.
And we need to hear late sub or another sub or something
Around.
to that effect, because really what our mechanic is, when we recognize the substitution process and we open the window, quote unquote, we need to turn and face the defense. I don't know how other conferences or groups do it, but we turn and face the defense. And I actually have this conversation with the coaches. I'll tell them, look, while I'm facing you, you are in, the window is open. As soon as I turn away from you, I may still be in the Iron Cross, but if I'm not facing you, the window is not open. So no other defensive matchup that you bring in will be protected. If I'm turned and facing the defense and another sub comes in, definitely need to hear that on the O2O, because I probably won't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, for most of it, to me, O2O is alert, emergency, only, but there's just a few of those routine things that I think it helps supplement. We could execute without it. I'm with you on that.
Oh,
It just helps.
certainly hope so.
Right.
Well, I like what David said too. If we have a defensive substitution, and this may be getting into the area where it's a little bit superfluous, but I like just us communicating that the offense is on their own, or that the defense is on their own, rather.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Love that.
Yes. But I do think that the referee needs to be the one saying that, and no other official should be the one saying that. And here's the reason why.
Of course you do.
How would anyone else know that the defense is on their own?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all dictated by what the referee's window. If he's
The referee is determining
closed
all
window
that.
or not.
Well, no. I'm saying if a teammate never subbed at all,
Oh, never subbed at all. Okay.
like
Yeah.
maybe
So somebody
teammate-
doesn't like kill the play.
teammates moving fast, and there's no teammate sub. Team B comes in, tries to substitute.
I said
find
that
out-
before.
Yeah,
They're on their own.
on their own.
See, that
And
might
every
be
crew kinda
dangerous, but what if you
develops-
miss it? What if you like if they're going fast? Let's say
Yeah,
team A is going fast. You're someone on the defensive sideline, and you just miss a sub that snuck in, and then you say defense on their own, and defense is really not on their own.
Okay, so then if I don't know, because I would know,
Oh,
I would
okay.
know, or I would not be unsure.
yeah.
I would ask.
Okay.
But-
Okay.
But if I would, so if I'm
that
saying
happens
that
a lot.
I've
That's a good point.
officiated the dead ball in such a way that I know teammate didn't sub.
Right. Okay. I'm good with that. Okay, I'm good with that.
I guess I'm not a big question guy on the O2O, but I don't
I
hate
know.
it. I think,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
if
hear
it's super targeted and enough detail, but if we're just kind of asking in general, that almost to me is the same as
No, I agree.
talking while the ball's alive.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's just not a lot of space for like Q&A between
Not-
plays.
yeah. But like back judges
But
will
that's
say,
an uncomfortable
do
feeling.
we
when
want to
you're not
reset?
sure.
Yeah. Do we want to reset this play clock? Now, I don't know. Maybe the back judge should kind of already know that, but I've heard back judges say, do we want to reset this play clock? That's really a question for the referee, obviously. And I think that's just kind of opening that window, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it would be better to say reset the play clock if you want.
I was about to
you
say
know?
it. I would sure like the back judge to tell me to reset the play clock. Don't ask me because I may not even know something happened. I'll be like, well, what do you mean reset the? Why are we resetting it? I may not even know what he's talking about. Just tell me reset it. And then if I know it shouldn't be reset, I'll say, no. We were fine. The ball was down at X, or we were fine. This, and this happened.
Or they
but I would
were
prefer
messing
the back
around.
judge
They're
tell
on their own.
me.
I've done that. No, the guys were like they were fighting. We're not going to give them extra time because they chose to be knuckleheads about, I don't know. Do you think back judges get offended when other officials make the decision on their own with the play clock?
Back judges get offended about everything.
That's not true.
Oh my gosh.
That's not
I
true.
had a back judge once that got offended without his consultation a couple times.
That's really interesting. I had a referee once who just wanted to officiate KCI and the play clock and everything else. It's just interesting.
Expertly,
We
maybe
each
not
have
KCI, but expertly handled the play
experiences.
clock.
Oh my gosh.
There was
that's
one
been
time when using the play clock from the referee perspective was very appropriate. The back judge was like laying on the ground for some unknown reason. And it was certainly appropriate for the referee to work the play clock in that situation.
Well, I have enjoyed all this extra O2O conversation. I feel like this is bonus time.
Yeah.
I think it was a great
Absolutely.
way.
Are you changing the subject? That was one of my two career delay of game calls. From
You didn't call
underneath the
delay
leg
game.
hat.
You didn't call delay
I
game. You
didn't?
me too delay game.
No, I called. You me too'd it from your rear end. Oh
Story
shoot,
gets
dude.
better and
That
better.
was that was great. That was great. In your hometown too. That had to be really
Oh
embarrassing.
no, it's embarrassing.
Hell, I was not embarrassed.
You should have been.
Nothing to be embarrassed about.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Good
183
stuff.
is next week.
Back to Tuesday.
Back to Tuesday.
Did you just
VSG
go
number
Tuesday?
183.
Nice enunciation. All right.
Later.
All good. I'm out. Later.
Later.